So I think if you think of the name conversational banking, it is exactly what it is, that you're having a conversation with someone. Now the difference is that with AI technologies today, that someone doesn't have to be a bank officer or a call center agent, but could be an AI agent that you're having a conversation with, right? And today it comes in many forms. It can be via a chatbot, or you actually speak to a device. So you'll be familiar with things like Echo and Alexa, and you get a response back, right? And the AI capabilities have advanced so much today that you're actually feeling that it's almost a natural conversation. And I think this is going to be a very important channel for banks going forward. So I think a fair amount will move to that. And if you look at it, it's also a matter of how the culture of people is moving. So a lot of people today, they do a lot of WhatsApp messaging or Facebook messaging. So they're used to conversing with other people using messaging, right? And they will also start thinking that, look, why do I have to go to a bank, internet website, or a mobile app? Why can't I just have a conversation with my bank? So that is becoming more and more natural in terms of the way people engage. The second thing is, if you look at a lot of research, especially in Asia Pacific, if you look at something like search, people are not typing it as much anymore. People are asking, hey Google, tell me where this is, or tell me where that is. So they are getting used to asking questions and getting answers versus doing a very structured search. So as those things are moving, I think the banks will also have to move in line with that to support the customer trends. So I think there is almost equal interest across all of them. Now the first area that most of them have gone into is something like customer service. So as opposed to going to an FAQ page or contact us page, they will have a lot of your common questions, and you can ask a chatbot that common question. Now in our opinion, that is just one part and in very early stage of what we would call as conversational banking, because honestly it is nothing much more than a rules based FAQ that you're trying to give to the person, right? But some of the work that we're doing with some institution is like, how do I increase reach of my digital assets? So for example, today most of them are in English, but if you look at large countries like India and other places, people speak a number of other languages. So can I now have a conversation with them in their language? So that becomes very interesting for them. And with technologies from Google and Amazon, you're able to understand different languages quite easily. I mean, the support level is different from different languages, but then your accessibility or your reach as a bank increases quite substantially. Another very interesting project that we are just going to start on is, how do I use this for building applications for the visually impaired? So if you think about the visually impaired, I mean, they obviously cannot see the application, but conversation can be a very normal or natural way for them to get the service. So while all of these institutions have started on the chatbot journey, I think it is really going to evolve a lot over the next few years as more and more banks adopt it as a key way of engaging with their customers. As I described, a lot of them think in the chatbot space and they just build chatbots. But if you really think of conversational banking, there are so many other things that you can do with it. So you have to think of all the different channels, right? So chatbot is just one channel. Even in your own mobile application, where you typically are typing or touching on the screen to do different things, you can put a simple mic capability over there. So instead of having to touch 3 screens, you can say, do this for me. And then the screen comes up and you're able to deliver it. Then if you're thinking of things like Echo or Alexa, where there's a voice assistant, then you need to think of a different user journey, because in that case there is no screen. So I think, I wouldn't say it is a mistake, but sometimes the vision is a bit more narrow towards the chatbot. It needs to be a lot more broader, because conversational can really open up that many more channels for you. I think it is accelerating. So it started about 2 years ago when AI chatbots became the big buzzwords, and then you've seen Alexa, Echo, Facebook messaging become other buzzwords. So a lot of banks have launched this, but I think in 2019, 2020, enterprise level conversational banking solutions, we're really thinking of many different channels. I'm seeing a lot of interest with banks. Customers that I speak to They are really thinking of how do we use this channel to either reach a new set of customers, offer a differentiated set of services. So I'm seeing quite a bit of acceleration in 1920. Some of the technology is cloud-based. So from a regulatory purpose, what you have to think about is if you're speaking to something, and suppose you're using a cloud-based technology to interpret that, then what is that part of that information that you send to the cloud, and what is it that you don't send to the cloud? Because obviously in some countries there is regulation that you cannot send customer information to the cloud. So you have to be a little bit conscious. The other thing is conversational banking, for example, could be done through a Facebook Messenger app, right? So you have to be very conscious that because as far as the consumer is concerned, I'm banking with you as a bank. I happen to use Facebook Messenger. What are the privacy rights of mine from the bank perspective and from the Facebook Messenger perspective so that my data stays private? So I think these are things that the banks and the consumers have to be very much aware of. I don't believe so, because I think if you just look at consumers getting used to consuming digital services, right? Started with the internet in the 2000, with the mobile applications in 2010. So conversational is another channel. So I don't think any privacy concerns, you'll have to address it whether for internet or mobile anyway. I don't think conversational brings in a new set of privacy concerns. There would be some things that you have to be sensitive about. So for example, we are sitting in a relatively quiet area, but imagine if there were 20 people around you and then you were speaking to your phone and saying something. So those things you have to be a little bit more conscious of, that hey, is somebody else hearing this or is understanding this? So I think that part of it has to evolve a bit. But in terms of general data privacy concerns, yeah, I think the regulations would be in place or they will catch up. I don't see a big hindrance around it.